don't get so distracted with this Patreon read that you don't enjoy the podcast. Seriously. I get there's a lot going on, and I get it'll make things really annoying to follow. Lots of threads and stuff happening. Will Nicole and Max ever come back? When are we ever going to talk about a Batman movie? And did we even see Captain Marvel yet? Listen, just go to patreon.com/evacstation. For a few dollars a month, you can support our show while we wage war with the surface world. I know it's a lot to take at such a low price, but did you see those fishmen back there? I just can't let them sit around and go to waste. Again, if you want some closure on all these questions and more, go to patreon.com/evacstation. And remember, just keep swimming.
Aquaman, swift and powerful monarch of the oceans, with ability to summon and command all creatures of the deep. Aquaman, who with his teenage ally, Aqualad, guards and defends all that lives in the seas against the forces of evil. Aquaman, king of the seven seas.
You know, I'm glad we didn't overbook this podcast with a full team of people. That might be a little too much for one little podcast to handle in just an hour. We are Wonder Waseska, and with me today, I've got Super Metters. And I have Rob Barry Allen, a.k.a. The Flash.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Rob Barry, I like that. That's good.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I like that. You were a tough one to put together, but I think I figured it out. If you want to support our show, go to patreon.com. You can also go to the various podcast platforms of choice: Peepa, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Podcast Addict. You can also follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook, leaving comments, questions, and all sorts of other fun stuff while we talk about movies. And this week, or I should say today, since we already did What You Watching, I've got a question of the week for you guys this week. Are you guys ready for this?
Yep.
Fire away.
Would King Orm, live action or animated, whichever you prefer, would King Orm be a better president than Donald Trump?
Ooh. That's a good question because they're both so garbage.
Hashtag Ocean Master 2020.
I would say Orm, just because you know what his motivations are, and he's not lying about anything. He's just to take it to the surface. He's not, making up lies while he goes on national TV or trying to build a wall.
It's a very pro-environmentalist message, actually. He's a very green candidate.
I mean, he's a psycho, but you know what he's doing.
He's a psycho. You know what he's gonna do. Trump, you're like, I don't really know what he's gonna do tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of them are bad, but I can't believe I'm going to say this. I actually would prefer Trump. Get
out of here, you blasphemer.
Hold on. Hear me out. I would rather an inept moron be at the helm than a very intelligent, villain trying to actively run the country into something horrible. That's what I would rather.
So what you're saying, Ryan, is I have a chance then.
Yes. In the choice between an inept moron and who's you already know is going to be on Let's Fucking Conquer the World page, I'd be like, moron's gonna get amazingly far, and then hopefully we'll be able to get him out, and then we'll fix it up after he's fucking gone.
Yeah. That's all I had for this question, really. I thought it was just a fun little bit. Continuing on with our week of the wet, in Crisis in Infinite Films, we dive into Justice League: Throne of Atlantis. Released in 2015, directed by Ethan Spalding, and written by Heath Corson. This animated work was not released in theaters, so no box office numbers to share with you today. It stars Sam Witwer, Jason O'Mara, Shimar Moore, Suma Lee, Montano, Christopher Gorham, Gorham. I can't pronounce that last name for some reason. Nathan Fillion is in this one. Rosario Dawson, Sean Astin, and the wettest former Jedi of them all, Matt Lanter from Clone Wars. He played Anakin.
Nice.
He played Anakin.
Cool.
It was nominated for one award, but it didn't win. So I'm moving on to the fun facts, which may or may not be fun. Take it away, Ryan.
And we got a couple of them here for you. This animated film was based off the Throne of Atlantis storyline.
No shit.
It was a 2013 comic book crossover event between the Justice League and Aquaman series and the New 52. Great place to have an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Next bit, John Henry Irons, a.k.a. Steel from the Man of Iron, has an appearance in the hitting an Atlantean with a sledgehammer during the final battle scene in Metropolis. This is a slight nod towards how Steel originated by being saved by Superman while attempting to help out in a fight against Doomsday. So nice little nod there.
Yeah. Ryan, if I may ask, Ryan, where was Shaq in this movie? I wanted him to play Steel.
I was just gonna ask that.
I don't fucking know. He was dancing with a fucking cat and shaking his shoulders. I don't fucking know. And last but not least, while fighting off the trenchers, Aquaman's right hand is bitten. In the comics, Aquaman actually loses his hand while trying to save his son and gains a hook and or prosthetic hand. I feel like that might have been just a bit too on the nose for movie to be like, oh, he's king of the seas with a hook on his goddamn hands.
But Ryan, you can't argue that in the animated series, Justice League animated series, he looked pretty badass with that hook.
Yeah, he did.
That's fair. I haven't actually seen the animated series as of yet.
Oh, that's a cardinal sin. I'm gonna
I gotta do it. I know.
Dear God.
I'm getting the look. I gotta do it. I know.
I'm looking at you too from.
Damn, seriously? Digital looks.
Digital looks.
Ryan, she's a keeper. She's giving you looks for not seeing the Justice League cartoon. That's a keeper.
I know, man.
An all-timer, man.
I'm trying. Damn.
Before we dive into this week's movie, let's do some initial thoughts real quick. Gentlemen, what do you think going into this one?
Robbie, take it away, sir.
Yeah, I love these animated movies. The New 52 storyline I'm not like super into, but I like how they can contain this within the universe, how the went into this movie, and it factors into why Orm has the wanting to do what he does because of what happened in that movie. And it features the Justice League, the right way, the Justice League, not garbage live action movie. And it was really well done, like origin story, and factored it in to the Justice League at the same time, which obviously they had a comic book storyline to go off of, but I thought it was a good job. Yeah, those are my initial thoughts on it.
Ryan, same question to you.
I am a huge fan of the animated series, of course, first and foremost. Personally think this is one of the weaker entries. It didn't hold my interest as much, and it's possible that I did it a disservice by watching it pretty much the day after going to see the live action, because I was just kind of automatically comparing and contrasting them as opposed to just being in the movie. But it didn't do a whole bunch to really pull me in. There was a lack of characterization in the animated series that really shone through in the live action that made me also not as engaged. So it wasn't as great.
I'm going to agree with Ryan a little bit. I don't hate this movie by any means, but it does feel a little bit flat compared to the original movie we saw, which I feel like is going to paint us in a corner here, Ryan. But here's the thing.
Spoilers for my opinion on this movie.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like it was animated with a really tight budget. because it's a very short film with a lot of stuff it's trying to do. I think it's trying to do way too much in such a short amount of time. I think the live-action movie can get away with doing more stuff because it's such a bigger movie, but I think they're both trying to do too much, and this one hurts more because of it.
That's a fair criticism. That is.
Yeah.
With that, gentlemen, I have a synopsis here for you, and I don't know if it's better or worse than the last one, but at least it's a synopsis. That's all I can say.
It is a synopsis.
All right, and here we go. A disturbance in the sea, namely attacked subs, causes Cyborg to investigate some deep-sea shenanigans. He is ganked by some freaky fish guys and has to consult the League for help. But you might be asking, where's this Aqua guy? We turn to Arthur, who is talking to lobsters in a bar between bar fights. He's abducted by Mira, much like the live-action film, to help set the feud the feud between white Atlanteans and everyone else. As Arthur is prepped to meet the world of Atlantis, Trenchmen arrive to kill Arthur. Luckily, the Justice League has finished discussing their irrelevant subplots and have arrived to save him. Meanwhile, Prince Orm is tired of listening to his mom and kills her. Take that, Mom! You can't tell me not to subjugate the surface world in a stupid costume. Prince Orm then puts on a stupid costume and moves forward with his plans to subjugate the surface world. After fighting a Cthulhu and letting Superman do most of the work, Arthur and the League give chase to the Atlantean army. Orm, now the Broshan masturbator, has led the army to Metropolis, where they're going to make you wish flood insurance was part of your plan. The League arrives, and Broshan Boy proceeds to bitch slap the hell out of all of them. But Arthur is the main character, and is immune to the power of the Broshan. Also, he has some fake news to publicize and ruin the Broshan's reputation for pussy grabbing. I mean, mother slaying. Arthur saves the day and is promoted from Arthur Man to Aquaman and King of Atlantis. He and Mira make out in front of the armies to celebrate their victory. Because that's what you do when you win a war, damn it. You make out with the nearest redhead before all the other combatants. The League goes to Atlantis to watch the coronation where they openly discuss their subplots once again and give Aquaman his garbage name. Tune in next week to see if any of these subplots will matter. Spoiler, no. No, they won't.
I mean, I'm personally interested in seeing whether or not Cyborg and that doctor lady actually make it work.
Ooh,
I think they are a thing in the comics.
I'm not, man. I'm really not. I don't give a shit.
Okay, so I don't think I have it as one of my questions. Wait, I think I do. Never mind, I'm not going to get to it now. I'll get to it later. So guys, now that we've talked about it, what do you guys think? What's the thoughts?
Like, I enjoyed the movie, and I feel like your guys' criticisms that you made before are very fair compared to the other movies that have come out in this. And I know we're going to talk about whether the Justice League needed to be in this or not. It, like, the parts down like in Atlantis between Orm and his was interesting when you compare it to this movie where he actually loves his mother, and this, he kills her. It was just kind of like, I hadn't watched this since it came out, and I rewatched it because we're going to talk about it. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. And having like Black Manta be his right-hand man already, I thought was interesting.
I mean, it kind of cuts out that backstory and saves it for another time if you really want it.
Yeah, which I think they had to because, of the runtime. And there was a lot of stuff jammed in, 70 minutes maybe?
Maybe.
So
not to cut you off, but that actually that confused the hell out of me because I'm not sure what who Black is from a canonical standpoint. Like, is he Atlantean? Is he a human with Atlantean? Actually, who actually is?
So I've seen it in different ways. I think I've even seen it where he's related to Aquaman in some capacity. I don't think there's a consistent thread for who he is. I think it just depends on which continuity you're in.
Okay, so he's some guy in a Black Manta outfit. Gotcha. Okay.
Because if I remember right, if I remember from Young Justice, he is for sure related to Aqualad in that show.
Well, in that show, he's Calderon's father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's that. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, no. So Black Manta is a very weird character in that he's one of the main villains of like the Legion of Doom. That's what I was thinking. Legion of Doom. He's one of those guys, but he's never really known for anything outside of that. He's that guy with the cool helmet, but he never really does anything outside of that I know. Like you'll see him in Aquaman stuff here and there, sure, but. Like, there's no big storyline saying, this is the origin of Black Manta, or this is when Black Manta takes over Manhattan, or anything. There's none of that. He's just like, oh, hey, I'm going to antagonize Aquaman this episode. It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, speaking out of my asshole, and there's comic fans out there who are going to burn down my house, bring it on, motherfuckers. Bring it on.
Hey, as long as they fill the mailbag, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's really what I'm looking for, honestly.
Just fill the mailbag with hate mail.
Please.
Be like, excuse me, but Black Manta actually saved all of Japan one time.
Be sure to cite your sources in your hate mail, folks.
I do want cited sources, but I'm not going to believe you. Speaking of Black Manta, though, so Orm and Black Manta, I guess. Question: do you think their actions and motivations are better or worse here than in the live-action film?
100% worse. I like. It was one of the big things that threw me out of the animated movie, because here, like in the movie, like in the live action, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday, but in the live action film, like the character arc from Orm's perspective, particularly on why he hates Aquaman, is a really good story. It's like the fact that this dude exists meant that according to Atlantean law, sacrifice. It's like, because you exist, I lost my mom. I instantly hate you. He was also an evil asshole. Some real drive to him against Arthur's character. And when all of it was resolved and Arthur became king, like, he had that moment when he looked at his little brother and he said, "When you're ready, let's talk." It's like I wanna actually build that family connection, and that was a really, really good character arc to see, and like how he was able to be brought back from the brink once his mom actually stepped out and said, "Yo, you're fucking up, kid. I love both of you. Why are you thinking this?" But in the animated, it's just, "Fuck you, mom. I'll do what I want." Stab. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? He's just an asshole now. It's just like.
Well, to be fair, Ryan, in this one, his father was killed by what happened in the previous movie. Now, I'm not saying it's better, but his motivation was he blames the judge, while Elena is like, "No, it was Darkseid, you dummy." So.
That's fair. That is fair. I wish delved into a little deeper.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, like, because like the initial reading that I got off was just like, man, fuck it, I want to fight the surface world. They're assholes. I'm gonna fight them. And his mom is like, "No, we need peace. We need to fucking bridge the gap between the surface and the sea because it's all one world." And good, peaceful ruler talking is like, "Nah, fuck all that," and stabs her. I'm like, get the.
See, I think that's a problem that a lot of people think that.
I just kind of checked out. I kind of checked out when that happened. I was just like, nah.
Well, and I think what you're saying there is a problem people perceive the Marvel movies to have, where you need to see all the movies to understand what's happening. But Marvel, you don't necessarily need to see every movie. Maybe if you're seeing Captain America 3, probably see Captain America's 1 and 2. But you don't need to see Iron Man. You don't need to see Avengers. You can just see the Captain America movies and still have a good time. Whereas this one, it feels like it should be standalone because it's Aquaman's story, but there's so much other things going on outside of it and it doesn't really fill you in enough on those. And I guess that's our fault a little bit for watching them out of order to try to keep up with the release schedule of stuff. But I mean, it's still one of those things. It's like, I feel like if you were gonna reference other movies, especially these, I guess I could argue less well-known, less popular animated films, because they don't get theater releases, they don't get the advertising budget, they're just kind of released for the hardcore fans. A little bit of, like, 10 minutes of backstory, 5 minutes of backstory to kind of fill us in, the casuals, what's going on, it wouldn't have been uncalled for.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say for this one, I think it's not so much that Orms is worse, but it's just sped up and then it escalates quicker than it should. Like, I feel like the first part of it, up until when he kills his mom, is a lot like the film. It just sped up really, really fast. And then when he kills his mom, it just escalates to a different direction than fighting Aquaman right away. So, it is worse overall, but I think it started off more or less the same. It just wasn't quite as fleshed out as it could have been.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Whereas Black Manta seems non-existent until you have that monologue where he gets eaten by a shark. You got him monologuing! How dare you! Okay, so we saw some really cool trenchmen in the previous movie. What did you guys think of the trenchmen in this movie?
They were kind of like merman ninjas as opposed to Nightmare, which is a downgrade. I personally, I didn't have a problem with them, but it also took me out of the idea because I thought that the trench was supposed to be like unconquerable and like you kind of have to write the trench off because they're all bestial like madmen and you can't really deal with them. But Orm's got them as his private fucking ninjutsu guys, and I'm like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah,
okay.
It does kind of slap around a little bit that the trench isn't as big a deal as we thought it was.
Mm-hmm. Like I prefer the Nightmare Fuel guys. Those guys are terrifying.
I think most of us do.
I think they kind of reminded me of the Putty Patrol and Power Rangers.
Oh yes,
they did. Oh my god, they were absolutely the putties.
So no, I agree. Aquaman live action, way better. Trench guys.
Actually, going on that a little bit, I think the designs of most of this film, with some exceptions, feel a bit flat compared to the live action movie. Not bad all around, not bad per se, but they just feel a little flat compared to what was fleshed out in the live action film.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And it's to that I wouldn't fault the movie.
No,
because of it. Like years earlier, and it's working on a smaller budget, whereas James Wan had like all the money on the planet to throw at the movie, and he desperately wanted to make a stamp on the DC universe. So yeah, I'm not gonna be mad at him for saying like, oh well, it wasn't as stylized as the guy that did it 2 years later than you with 4 times your budget. No, that's fine.
You could argue maybe Warner Brothers is misappropriating their money a little bit, but I think it was still well spent in Aquaman, but I do think they really should invest more in their animated stuff. Just a little bit. Yeah. But they're like, there's not as big of a market in animated. That's why they don't throw as much money.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Very unfortunate, yeah. Okay, so I have a problem with Orm in the final battle here. And I think it was evident in my synopsis, but I'll bring it up here. What is the power scaling of Orm? How powerful is it supposed to be? Because it felt really inconsistent. Like, he could slap around Aquaman without any problem. But when... Superman. But when Aquaman comes up, he's like, oh man, I can't handle this shit. And it's like, he could slap the whole league down with one hand. And it's like, how is he doing this? He's never been this powerful anywhere else I've seen him. What's going on?
Yeah, like, Superman, it made sense because he had a fucking magic trident, and I was just like, oh, magic.
Yep,
man,
magic, yep.
But then Wonder Woman seemed a bit weird to me.
What's that?
But Wonder Woman being slapped around so easily, that felt a bit weird.
It did. Like all the other guys, like you could say that nobody's fucking used to fighting underwater, which is fair. But
they were on the surface, though, during the final battle.
Yeah, it's the Justice League. They
and my
like,
biggest...
Yeah, especially because they're on land. Yeah.
And my biggest argument is the Flash. The Flash should have destroyed him with his fucking Speed Force.
Yeah,
Granted, they won't dive into that, but still.
I think, like, obviously they were just trying to make it so that Aquaman was the main focus there.
Yeah.
But with it being a magic trident, with that electrical like lightning shit coming out of it or whatever, maybe it's just too powerful and they didn't know what to do with it. And Aquaman being the same and being able to control the trident, it doesn't affect him. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, it's like you have all these incredibly powerful people and he's just bitch slapping them, which would never happen. But I get it.
I mean, it felt like, and this is just my opinion, it felt like Dragon Ball Z, where you have Piccolo and Krillin getting slapped around, you got Vegeta almost making it, but like, nope, sorry, you're getting kicked in the dick. And then all of a sudden, here comes Goku, I'm gonna save the day without even trying, here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you take it into context that Krillin is literally supposed to be the strongest human on the planet. And every
That is so sad that he's the strongest
It
human.
really is. Poor my boy Krillin, man. He gets zero respect.
Man. We could do a Dragon Ball podcast at some point. That'd be fun. Okay, next one. Let's see here. Okay, I wrote this in a very sassy way, so I apologize if it sounds bad. If Mira is so great, why doesn't she just take the damn throne for herself and let Aquaman bum around all he wants? Live action or animated, why doesn't she just do it? She seems capable enough.
She's not of royal blood. So no.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's part of the Scottish Aquaman.
Yeah, it's
The redheads.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I think for the live action, I think she's definitely smart and empathetic for it, but I don't think she has like the temperament for it. She makes a fantastic queen. I would 100% say that she is a perfect match for Arthur, and like her and the fucking power couples that end all power couples. So I love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that her by herself would be like. I think that her rule would be just, but it would probably have a few like blind spots in it, just like in terms of like, I don't know, maybe military capability or strategy or shit like that.
Fair enough. Anything you want to add to that, Robbie?
I think it's just, for the story's sake, Arthur's of royal blood, so to speak, or whatever. I think she could do it, but like Ryan was saying, it's better for them as a couple, just because they're such a badass pairing.
They really are.
Thing and yeah,
Jesus.
so
Waterbender.
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what they actually call. What do they call it in DC Comics? They call it something.
I mean, I've always heard them referred to as
water.
magic, so...
Yeah. So they should call it waterbending because that's what it is.
They really would. I don't know if that's copyrighted. They'll have to find that out if it's trademarked or something.
Oh yeah, I guess it could be. Interesting.
She hit Orm with that damn like air vacuum in the midst of the sea.
That was pretty slick.
Live action film. I was like, that's beast mode. Like, I'm gonna bend all the water away from you and plummet you to the ground, and then hit you with the water. I'm like, shit. Like, yeah, she's boss. It's boss mode.
All right, so this movie was obviously not just an Aquaman movie. It also had some Justice League in there, which is why half my questions are about the Justice League. So here we go. Question number 1. This is what I was going to get to earlier. Do you think Clark and Diane make a good couple? Why or why not?
Hate it.
Hate it? I hate it too.
Oh my
Allegra
god!
hates
Like,
it.
Here's go ahead.
It's just like, Superman and Lois Lane have been a thing for forever, and I get they wanted to try to switch it up with somebody that has a similar experience as him, where they're outsiders, they're not true humans. I get that, but I don't know. It just feels weird, right? Like
yeah. Well, here's my take, Robbie. Here's my take.
I don't know how to explain it.
I've always seen Wonder Woman paired up with Batman, and I felt like that made more sense to me.
And Justice League, yep.
Yep.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
But with the Superman, yeah, I feel like Lois Lane's kind of his go-to. I don't know who else you could really pair with him that would make more sense, because those two just have always worked throughout comics history. They're probably the oldest couple and the longest lasting one outside of maybe Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm.
Well, Superman started in what 1939, and
Yeah.
I think they've been a couple basically since the start. So that's a long history.
It's pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Ryan, where do you fall on this one?
Yeah, like I applaud their want to do something new, but yeah, you're kind of fucking with the classic at that point. Like the scene where Lois kind of like runs into them on their date was
so awkward.
cringe. Was just the cringiest thing. I was just like you can tell Lois is kind of angling, and then Diana's no, we're on a date. Please go away. I'm like, oh my god, this is the worst. Lord have mercy. Yeah, so I mean, I've seen iterations like the Injustice series where after Lois's death, he hooks up with Wonder Woman,
and that I could be okay with.
Bring his descent into madness. That I could be fine with.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as long as Lois is actually fucking alive, then yeah. That's how it should be.
The next League member I want to bring up is Shazam. Does Shazam in this film make you more or less excited for the upcoming Shazam film? I'm gonna go here real quick. I felt like he was a little annoying in this film, and by a little I mean, goddamn, can you shut the fuck up for 5 minutes?
Yeah. He's annoying in this movie. About Shazam, because I think it could be a super fun movie, but like in this, I just felt like he's in the way, annoying. It's just like, why are you?
And like, I get it. He's a kid. I totally get it. But I feel like they might have been trying too hard to make him like the comedic relief here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like it's not outside of his character. Like it's definitely 100% like how he's supposed to be. But it's just like. Man, come on! Like we've already got comedic relief with this version of Hal Jordan riffing off Barry Allen, riffing off of everybody.
I have no problem with Green Lantern in this movie. I thought Green Lantern was fine.
Oh man,
I have no problem with them at all. Like I love the comedy that they bring to it, and like Nathan Fillion can always voice Green Lantern.
Yes, that's my guy.
Like we have enough of that, we. Comedy with those two guys riffing off everybody. So to then throw a 12-year-old child into the mix who's only there because I'm fucking nigh invincible? Nah. I'm tired. Like I'm like Shazam was never like my most favorite character in the DC Pantheon. I didn't know too much about him. I'm mostly excited The Rock as Black Adam at the very end, but that's
they better do that.
We'll get the act where fucking The Rock just yells Shazam, and I'm like, yes.
I was gonna say we haven't actually seen any trailer stuff with him in it yet. I'm wondering if they're trying to hide that, or if he's not going to be in this first one.
Well, supposedly he's not going to be in it, which I'm like, what's the point of not having him at least teased in it? Because
yeah, no, like they already like teased his involvement in the franchise. We're good singer. We're good. I would stake money on it. We're gonna see him in an after credit scene. He's gonna show up, be like, "Hey," and that's gonna be it. Like I'm like, good.
I'd love to see The Rock on after credits. Let's see if we can get him on here. Let's do it.
Bro, we don't have nearly enough money.
Well, he's just passing through town. It's fine. Just be like, hey, man, hook up a mic. Just pop on in for a minute.
Okay, so guys, you heard it first. If you want to get The Rock on the After Credits podcast, please visit our Patreon and donate as much as you fucking can.
If you want The Rock on this podcast, tweet this podcast to him at The Rock. Just do it.
Make it happen, people.
All the tweets. Okay, does the leak feel like a necessary element to this film, or do you feel like they take up too much of the runtime?
Robbie, you brought this up earlier, like that we were going to get into this, and I think, like, when, like, we're going to the animated movie series and how it is all about the Justice League and constantly adding people to it, it makes sense that they're so prominent in it because it's a Justice League movie where they're introducing Aquaman, and I get it. But I feel like, especially after seeing and being like the good story that they were telling there, like they missed out on so much opportunity of delving into the Atlantean storyline and giving Arthur some more character or fleshing out Mira some more, making Orm not seem like a whiny little bitch because they had to fit in all of these storylines about the League. So I would have preferred it if it was just an Aquaman movie and we got that as opposed to, oh, fucking Justice League has all these side things going on. Oh, fuck it, let's go to Atlantis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like it was just so much stuff, you know. It just they could have done without it.
I'm thinking here, and I think the League definitely. I feel like they take up a little bit too much time. I think you could have probably even done like some of the League, but not all of them. Like I would have been fine keeping Green Lantern and Superman, maybe. That makes sense. I don't think you need Flash at all. I don't think you need Shazam at all. You could probably even do it with Batman, even though he's fun. I don't think you need him in this. I think a couple members finding Aquaman versus the whole team needing to be here would definitely feel a little bit simpler. But I think the real problem is just that they made this movie in such a way... They went for this storyline in particular because I don't think that the studio had the faith that Aquaman could carry this movie by himself.
That's fair.
And I think they felt like the League had to be here to make this film even watchable. But the live-action movie does prove you don't need that. I do think that movie is also bloated, but at the same time, though, it all bloats into itself. It all loops into itself, and it works. This one, it feels like it's coming from other stuff and going into other things, and it's like, okay, this is fine, but y'all could have trimmed it down a little bit, and it would have worked just fine.
Yeah, as opposed to the live action, which could have done with a shorter runtime, for the animated film, I could keep the runtime exactly the same, but just remove a good portion of the League stuff and flesh out the Atlantean storyline more. Like, It doesn't need less runtime. It just I want those bits more fleshed out than just Borg hook up with this doctor or won't he type.
But I mean, it comes back to what they're doing with these animated movies is, you know, it's either Justice League or it's Batman, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's
Sadly.
But the reason they're doing that is because that's what sells, and they don't think that these characters can carry a movie by themselves, whether it's Aquaman or Green Lantern or Flash, and you know, guys like you and me would love that, like where it's their own story in one of these animated movies. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So you have to have a Aquaman origins with the Justice League, so people will watch it.
And you're not wrong.
I'm sure that Aquaman's going to get some more play though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
After the success at the box office, I'm sure they're going to get some. He's going to get some more play.
Absolutely. And to go off to your point, Robbie, you're not wrong. In fact, the live-action movies did the same thing back in the day, where it was all Superman movies, and then all Batman movies, and then nothing for a while, and then it's like, oh, hey, we're going to try to Justice League, and here we are now.
Yep.
So, yeah, similar situation. 2 more questions, and we'll move on to our next segment here. So question number 1 here. Why is the Flash even here? I love the Flash. He's my favorite DC hero. But why is he here? In the comics at this time, he was busy dealing with Gorilla Grodd. And here, he barely contributes anything to the story. So why is he here?
I love Gorilla Grodd. We should talk about him.
We should. Gorilla Grodd's pretty fucking
villain.
Cool. I love his appearance in the TV show. Like, it's so understated, but when he shows up, it's like this big event, and it's so good.
Yeah. A telepathic gorilla. Like, how awesome is that?
Yeah. like you wonder where we were saving our budget for this season? It's for this guy. Not for Street Sharks. It's for Grodd.
Money well spent. Money well spent.
Absolutely. thing, which is kind of unfortunate because, like you, Aaron, I love the Flash. He is one of my favorites behind Batman. And I love everything he's in, but in this movie, he's just like, you're not even doing anything. You don't have to be here, you know.
Go fight a gorilla. Have fun.
Yeah, go fight one of your rogues.
Ryan, where you sit on this one?
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the things. It's one of the many unnecessary things that didn't have to be here. Like, especially if in the comics he's not even there to deal with the Atlantean stuff. Yeah, there's literally no point to him. I mean, Orm smacks his ass around too, like during the final action sequence. So it's just like, why, sir?
I mean, I feel like maybe his one reason for being here is to have banter with Green Lantern, but Batman and Cyborg can do that just as easily without him. So I don't see that being a reason to keep him. So yeah, he's one of the cuts that I would unfortunately make, even though, like I said, he's the best DC hero, hands down. Speed Force. Next question. And last one. How does this Batman rank on your list of Batman portrayals?
Ooh, this is my question.
Well, Robbie, take it away, please, sir.
Are we talking about animated guys?
Let's start there, and if we
question?
want to expand it, we can.
Okay. I personally dislike Jason O'Mara as Batman, the voice.
He's not as good as Mark Hamill, without question. That's the top one.
Well, you mean Kevin Conroy. Mark Hamill does the Joker.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck, I got the names
It's
mixed up.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Second.
Burn my nerd badge. I lost all my street cred.
It's okay. You just got confused.
He tripped and lost all his experience.
Number 2 is Bruce Greenwood, who voices Batman in Under the Red Hood, he's
really good.
Yeah, as well as he also does it in the newer one that just came out this past year, Batman Gotham by Gaslight.
How was
which
that?
is
I
like
didn't
an
see
Otherworld
that.
story. It was pretty good. Like, it's not a continuity story. It's just like a one-off, and it's kind of weird because of the time frame it's set in, but it's still pretty cool. But he's second for me, and then what else am I missing?
There's that one show, The Batman. I don't remember who voiced him, but that was all right. That was pretty decent.
Oh, it was The Batman. Is that who you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember that guy's name, but I like him better. But I don't know. Jason O'Mara just doesn't do it for me. Like, he doesn't sound like Batman. And maybe that's just because we got spoiled with Kevin Conroy for so many years.
Mm-hmm. I think
it just sounds off.
I think also I need to hear Bruce, like him being Bruce, to get a better grounding on his Batman. Because I think
that's true. Because he hasn't done.
When you hear both, it lets both of them work well together. If you hear just the one, it's like, okay, well, that's fine. It's just him. But, like, what else has he got? So,
yeah. Like,
Kevin Conroy mastered that so well. Like, anyone else, like, Christian Bale tried to do the Kevin Conroy style of two different voices, basically. But Kevin Conroy was perfect for it. Yep. He was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% agree. I like the the snarky Batman that this one's going for, but yeah, I think we need to see more of his portrayal, especially as Bruce, before we put him over Kevin Conroy. I mean, fucking Justice League Doom. That was it. That was the end all be all. Yep. Like Kevin Conroy just doing a masterclass on this whole thing.
Oh,
so,
was Conroy also in Doom? I have to rewatch that again. That was so good. That was so good.
He was Batman in Doom.
They had the original guys from the Justice League cartoon, as well as had Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern. So excellent.
Man,
so
I haven't
Superman
seen Doom
was
in
done
so long. I have to
Tim
check
Burton.
it out again.
Also, I forgot about two Batman guys that also voiced in The Dark Knight Returns. It's by RoboCop himself, Peter Weller.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it's actually, he does a pretty good older Bruce, I think. And an underrated one is, if you guys remember the animated movie Justice League on Two Earths.
I do remember that, yes.
It's William Baldwin. William Baldwin, a Baldwin brother, did Bruce in that, or Batman.
I'll have to rewatch that because I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, and he actually does a pretty good job. I wouldn't put him. It still goes Kevin Conroy, Greenwood for me, but
yeah.
he's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Hood. Yep.
Yep.
So
yeah, I'm on the same boat as you, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's our official Batman rankings. Tune in, months from now when we actually do the month of Batman, whenever that is.
The Christopher Nolan movies, I can talk about them for hours. Sorry.
Yes.
With that, let's move on to the next segment, mailbag shout out real quick. If you want to send us messages, you can go to Tumblr, Twitter, or Facebook. Any comments you leave there will get YouTube comments as well. You can also go to our email. Ryan, what is that email?
That is Flash needs to be chasing a gorilla at Gmail. Excuse me. Damn. That is evacstation at gmail.com.
I want to chase a gorilla too. But yeah, go to that email. You can also go to your podcast platform of choice. You're already here listening, so hopefully you're there now. But if you're not, you can go to those as well and all that stuff. So we're going to close out this episode with Who Wore It Better? The live-action film or the animated film. I feel like we've already kind of painted ourselves in a corner, but I feel like we still should talk about it anyway. So, Robbie, you're the guest. Kick us off. What do you think?
Live action by far.
Mm-hmm.
Just all the set pieces. Ocean Master looked better, or Black Manta looked better. I even think when Momoa got the actual, that orange and green looked better than it did in animated too.
No lie, I was worried about how he looked when he stepped out and was posing on in the waterfall. It was just like, that's a little much. But then when I saw him in action, I was like, actually, no, I take.
Yeah, I was too, man. I was too, and then action, it looked great. So
I agree. That's pretty good. Anything else you want to add before you let Ryan take a shot at it?
No, that's it.
All right, Ryan, what do you got?
We've been leaning towards that this entire episode, but I think visually, story wise, the live action kind of blows it out of the water, and it's a good thing. As they were able to improve on a good formula and a good basis. They got to focus a lot on Arthur's storyline. They gave him a really compelling story with great characterization. I love the characterization of Orm and Arthur. Character drives that put them in conflict without either one of them just being unnecessarily just a shitty person. So I really liked watching that develop. The trench, just fucking mind-blowing. And while it did have a couple of unnecessary things, I don't think it had as many unnecessary things as the animated version. Which were there because of the reasons that we've already discussed. Still, I would put the live action over the animated, 100%.
All right, I'll step up. So, I love the Flash, and I love the monologuing before his death for Black Manta, and I love the putty monsters. And I think that makes the animation much. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, okay, let's see him actually walk this back. Let's see him.
Here's the thing. Two things the live action movie does that put it ahead of the animated movie by miles. Number one, Willem Dafoe. If you put him in your movie, you got my attention. And then the entire moment from the storm at sea with the trench monsters all the way to waking up in the Earth's core, that whole bit there, to me, personally, is better than the entire animated film. You don't even need the rest of the live-action movie. That part alone is so damn well done. I will watch that again and again.
Such a spectacle. It was awesome.
Oh.
So yeah, I think it's unfortunate that this animated film does not win out, but it's nice to be able to say that after this run of movies we've done, Ryan, that a live-action film, it can win out by miles. It's really good.
Hey, they can be taught, apparently. Shit, they can actually learn.
Warner Brothers kept their hands off the wheel and like, okay, James Wan, we're kind of in a tailspin here. Can you pull us up? He's like, I got this.
I'm still kind of blown away that they didn't receive a nod for visual graphics at the awards. I'm still blown away.
I'm still blown away James Wan did this. I mean, he's known for smaller like horror films. This is way outside his wheelhouse, and he did such a good job with it.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible to think about, going from the Conjuring and Insidious to doing this.
It's not a trajectory I would have ever selected.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had a trauma director go to Guardians of the Galaxy, and look what happened there. So
that is true.
Yeah, now we'll see him on Suicide Squad. So that'll be fun.
He will save the squad, Ryan. He will.
I just want him. I just wish he was doing Guardians.
Oh no, I agree. Guardians 3 is way more important.
That's another.
But it's
another podcast.
If I had to rank this movie, Ryan, I would give this movie a strong silver for the Aquaman live action. I think it's super good. Not the best, not the worst. It's really good. There are ways you can improve it. I don't think it's the. I'm hard pressed to say it's the best DC film either, because there's also Wonder Woman to consider as well, which has
that's the question.
Because Wonder Woman's good with action and it's got more meaning to it. It's just not as fun as this.
Yeah, that's my whole dilemma. Like I will never tell you that this movie was a better cinematic like piece than Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman was just amazing and one of the best movies that they've put out to date. But this was just fun, like nonstop, foot on the gas. You're just constantly smiling and laughing the whole time watching this crazy ass shit. So yeah, I will judgment, and I hope we come back to it and bring it up when we do Wonder Woman, when we film Wonder Woman, when we record Wonder Woman.
When we recorded Wonder Woman, yes.
When we recorded Wonder Woman, yes. You can hear my opinion on whether or not it was this good. Fucking time. I don't care.
I'll say this much, Ryan. If we're gonna compare the movies right now, just as a quick little dirty comparison, the third act of this movie holds out better than the third act of Wonder Woman, where she fights the boss monster guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
This one is more consistent with the rest of the film, and I think this one lets it hold out much better.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very fair.
So yeah, I think we've covered Aquaman and Wet Week completely well. Let's go dry off and do some Shazam next week, Ryan.
Yep, Shazam!
Before we go, Robbie, we want to thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you want to add before we close out?
Yeah, I actually just wanted to mention, I thought, going into Jason Momoa being cast as Aquaman, I wasn't sure what to expect because, we know him as Khal Drogo and, a few other roles. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure if he'd be, Aquaman, but damn did he kill this role, and I can't playing it.
I 100% agree. I love that my new definition of Aquaman is no longer the blue-eyed, like the blue-eyed, blonde-haired, like square-chinned, like the king of Atlantis. No, it's a Pacific Islander dude with long hair and a scraggly beard that just looks like a drunk uncle that throws axes for the fuck of it. Yes, that's Aquaman for me now. I'm so glad he's in it.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I thought he was better as a Lobo kind of character, but he pulled this off really well. So, congrats to you, man. You've proven that typecasting is a thing of the past, or should be. So, yeah. With that, let me give a quick shout out to the mailbag one more time. You can reach out to us at Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook. You can also get to us at evacstation@gmail.com. You can also follow us on your platforms of choice for podcasts. Next week, Ryan and I, and maybe a guest, I don't know yet, we haven't scheduled that far ahead, we'll be doing Shazam. And I think it's the only one we're doing that week because we have nothing to compare it to. There's really no Shazam-specific film to discuss animated wise.
Ooh, that's not true.
Oh, is there?
There's the animated short, which is has Superman in it. It is called. Let me find it. It's not like a newer one. It's from the one before.
I say it's probably an older one.
I'll find it.
Didn't see it on my list anywhere.
The animated films. It's a short. It's the showcase. It's Superman, Shazam: The Return of Black Adam.
Huh.
We might have to grab that and put it on the list.
It's actually really well done, but it's pretty short, so you might have to talk about it. It's
In
only
the
like
episode.
20.
Yeah.
20 or 30 minutes, but it's pretty cool, and it actually does a short origin on Shazam.
Interesting. Well, I will. Ryan, we'll add it to the list. We'll give it a look, and if we feel like it's worth putting in the episode, we could probably do that too.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah. So you might be getting a comparison movie next week, after all, gentlemen. Or audience. We'll see. Yeah. And then after DC films, because if you want to start coming in on them now, we'll be hitting very quickly and very hard the Marvel films because, oh boy, they moved up the date for Infinity War by a week, so our schedule's all kinds of fucked up right now.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
So make sure you tune in because we're going to have Ant-Man and Wasp and Captain Marvel and Infinity War back to back to back, week after week after week, just for you guys.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think we have Godzilla planned.
Ooh.
King of the Monsters, man. We're getting ready for that. Ryan, is there anything else I've missed for the closeout this week?
No, I think you got it, sir.
All right. I have to double check anymore because I feel like I got the worst memory and I forget stuff. So thank you all for listening, and we'll see you after the credits.
Bye.